Trackmania, like many other games, have community-built plugins or add-ons to make the game more user-friendly, visibly better, or just give it some quality of life improvements. But some plugins are so good for gameplay they might be considered cheating by some. Not because they directly interfere with your gameplay, but they can give you other advantages. And in this video, I would like to bring up that discussion. The console release is right around the corner. So after I wrote and recorded this entire script, Nadeo officially announced the release date of the console versions of the game coming to PlayStation and Xbox. That's gonna be May 15th, 3 days as of recording this sentence right here. And for all we know, it is impossible to get these plugins working on a console. Considering it's third-party software, I don't think it's gonna be possible to get these plugins to work on Xbox or PlayStation. So the question goes, how much of an advantage is it okay to get as a PC player? If we try to compare to other esport games that have a home on more than one platform, we might be able to find some clues or hints. Rocket League is a game that comes to mind, a large game audience and a thriving esports scene. Rocket League got released on console and PC simultaneously, but there were some key differences that we're gonna look at. On PC, players were able to mod the game and create custom levels specifically targeted at players who wanted to train specific skills more efficiently. The efficiency of the custom training levels on PC became an overwhelming reason to play the game on there and made PC players a lot better, a lot faster. Luckily, the creators of Rocket League, Jnic, took notice and made custom training packs accessible on all platforms by implementing a training pack creator tool straight into the game. In Trackmania, however, no such thing can be made, as all the plugins are coded separately, and to be implemented would mean that Nadeo themselves would have to code them and put them into the game. As much as this sounds doable, I have a hard time believing this will happen. Take a stable plugin like AFK Queue Tool. This tool doesn't do much other than let you queue up for matchmaking matches while not in the matchmaking queue screen, so you can practice maps, play on servers, or whatever you like while you wait for a match to start. Not super handy in the low ranks, but when you rise up in the ranks, matches can start to take a while to pop. This plugin was made within a week of matchmaking being released in the game, and is such a no-brainer to allow people to practice and not look at an empty screen while waiting. Yet there's been no sign of any improvement on this from Nadeo's side. This was around 2 years ago, by the way. Of course, AFK Queue Tool is not the only thing being developed by the community as plugins. Even entire game modes like a random map challenge, random map survival, bingo, custom rank, and many more are made by the community and will only be playable on PC. This makes me consider the possibility that some of these custom plugins that I will talk about in a moment might never get implemented in the game officially, and thus will be unavailable for console players to utilize. Once I've introduced and talked about them, I'd like to hear your opinion in the comments. What do you think Nadeo should do? Is it all fine the way it is? Should they try to implement some in the game, or should they straight up ban them? The first obvious plugin I would like to talk about is Speedometer, a great plugin that lets you see your speed, but more importantly, see your gears. This plugin, if used for the purposes of learning, will greatly improve a player's understanding of gears and allows for players to get visual input on the car's RPM, that's the rounds per minute, something not visible in the game otherwise. If you pair this plugin with Dashboard, a plugin that lets you see player inputs, then it becomes even more ridiculous. You see, you can spectate world record players in the game normally, if you have club access, that is. And that's great, but if you have these plugins installed, you can see the world's best players' exact inputs on any given part of a map, including when they release, brake, air brake, counter steer, neo slide, gear up, gear down, etc, etc. A truly miraculous pair of plugins to help players learn a map or simply just learn the playstyle of professional players. This is also something I still do almost every day on Cup of the Morning to learn lines or tricks I otherwise would have missed. Then there's a plugin I get asked about on stream every day. This plugin's name is Buffer Timer. This plugin is actually dependent on a few others, ML Hook and ML Raise Data. What these two plugins do is that they can read events going on server side, like other players' checkpoint times, resets, and many other things that I don't really know about since I'm not a developer or coder, but this is what gives Buffer Timer its power. What Buffer Timer does is basically give you the amount of time between you and the first person getting knocked out in cup of the day, cup of the morning, or cup of the night. So if you are, let's say, top 40 and the players 50 to 54 are getting knocked out, the plugin lets you know how much time there is between you and the person on the 50th spot. It does this even when your UI is off, giving you real-time feedback on how much you have to risk or you're fully able to save the run. It is an overwhelmingly nice plugin to have. I cannot stress how much I use this plugin. It is such an advantage to know exactly how far ahead or behind you are. There's no need for me to look at my position in the race. As long as the number on the splits are green, then I don't have to care. There's a huge difference between playing the game like this and like this. These are just 3 plugins that I think could give an unfair advantage. For those interested, I'll be talking more in depth about these plugins and other exclusive videos and tournaments on my Patreon, so go check that out. But what do you think? Let's raise a friendly debate on this topic. I would love to hear all your thoughts. And again, thanks for watching and subscribing.